Hello guys, good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you are. I hope you're doing fine, you're doing great. So today it's another day, it's another episode of our FL Studio Beginners Guide series, and today we are in for the third episode. And in our third episode, we are going to be looking at the channel rack. We had the first episode where we looked at the toolbar. The second episode, we looked at the browser. So if you have missed all these episodes, the first, the second, check in the description below, or you go to my page, then at the playlist, check on the playlist. You're going to get the playlist named FL Studio Beginners Guide series. You're going to get all the episodes. So without wasting much of the time, let's dive in. And also don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out all the coming episodes and other videos that I'll be posting, and also hit that bell button. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, here is the channel rack. Now, if you have opened your FL Studio and you're not accessing your channel rack, come here to the toolbar. You see this guy here? This guy here is the channel rack. You can access it. You can bring it out. If you click again, it goes out. So if you can also increase the size, can increase the size of the channel rack, but this is the default. This is the default. Okay, to begin with, channel rack, it can be a channel rack or a step sequencer. It holds instruments that create sound or internal generators that control automation. So all the instruments that you're going to use in your project are loaded onto the channel rack. Or automation clips. You may not be knowing about automation, but we shall look at automation in the future videos that I'll be posting. But for now, that's what you need to know, that all your instruments from here, let's say you have a sample here, you can load it to the channel rack. You can come here to the plugins, add plugins, you load your instruments or the plugins, and then you start making sounds. With the channel, one thing I like about the channel rack or the step sequence is that you don't need to be having like a piano or any MIDI controller or external device to create sound. You can just draw your sounds here. You just click, left click, left click, left click, left click. So as you can see, from here to here, it's one bar. From here to here, this one is one beat, this one is one beat, this is one beat, this is one beat. That means we have 4 beats. We have 4 beats in a bar. You can adjust, increase, increase, increase. So now these ones are how many? 1 beat, 2 beats. This one is not yet activated because there is nothing, but if I plot something, it gets activated. So these ones are 4 bars, 2 bars. These are 2 bars with 8 beats. Basic. Let's say, let me bring the tempo down to 100. That's BPM. We looked at these ones all in our first episode. You just click. I'm not hitting playing any instrument. I just plot. That's 1 beat, 1 beat, 1 beat, 1 beat. You're just going to use 1 bar. Okay. So if I play, these are the default instruments that come with it. If I play, yeah, we have already started making music, just as simple as that. So how do you load? These are the defaults that come with it. How do you load the instruments? Now, from the instruments, you can come to the browser here where you have your samples and all the plugins. Let's say that I don't want this kick, I want a different kick. You can come to packs. Let's say the drums, kicks. Let's say I want this kick and I want it here. So I can either, like the way we looked in our browser, in our second episode, that I can click and then drag here, I replace, or I add down here, or I right click here from the browser. I say add to new channel. If I say add to new channel, it brings it up here. If it is sent to selected channel or focused plugin, that means I'm replacing, and that's what we want to do. So I'm going to replace. So if we play, our kick has changed. As simple as that. Stop that one. So that one was replacing, or you can add a new sound there. So you can either grab here and drop, or you right click. So you add, let's add, you can explode just a simple dancehall vibe. Plot it here, plot it here, plot it here. As simple as that. We have already uploaded our simple dancehall vibe. There is no science here, it is straightforward. So in case you want to delete one of these plots, left click will not work, so you right click. When I right click, I remove that. I click again, it's there. So that's it. Right click, you remove it. Another way of adding plots here, you right click. First of all, you come here. So this green shows you which one is engaged, which instrument is engaged. So as per now, it's the hi-hat. So I can either, when I right click, I can also fill, let's say, fill each 2 steps, or fill each 4 steps, or fill each 8 steps. So let me select fill each 2 steps. It automatically fills. Automatically fills it. Or if I change fill each 4 steps, that's where it is. Simple as that. Let's take it back. Fill each 2 steps. Okay, so that's it with plotting. Now plotting is good for the drums. For the drums we are talking about the snares, the percussions, what. But now another thing is that with the plotting, the pitch you are using, you're on the same pitch. You cannot change pitch. And let's say the pitch we're talking about in terms, let's say C, where you if you're not if you don't know the music theory, we'll also post videos about the music theory in future. But the pitch, I mean, let's say if this one is in C, it cannot move from C to D like that. So in order for you to change the pitch, because here it is straight, it is flat, it is flat, it is flat. For you to change the pitch, you need to access the piano roll. We are going to talk about the piano roll, I think, in our next episode. That will be the 4th episode. So you right click. When I right click, there is this piano roll. It opens the piano roll. So our kick is, are you seeing what I was meaning? Pitch, it is straight. It is only here. Boom, boom. But if I say, if I need to change the pitch, here the pitch is changing. The pitch is changing. So for you to change the pitch, you have to access the piano roll. And the way to access the piano roll, right click, piano roll. As simple as that. And so all of this one is in one pattern. All of this one is in one pattern. Let's say now this is the pattern for the drums. That is the pattern for the drums. If I need to change to a second pattern, I have to come here and second pattern. Have you seen? The first pattern has disappeared. We are now in the second pattern. I can still draw, like plot the drums here or add another instrument like maybe a keyboard, but it's in a different pattern. So let's, if you come to the playlist, we haven't also talked about the playlist, but we shall talk about it on the upcoming episodes. Just drag here. That's your first pattern. Second pattern, it draws here. Let's not cheat by going to the playlist now. No, shall go there in our next episode. So we are still here. First, that is adding from the browser, but there is this add plus icon here. Here they're also telling you add. You're adding an instrument. Let's say I want to add FL keys. All these are plugins that generate sound or that generators. So you can either come here from the browser or click here, add. Then these are all the plugins that you have. Some come with FL Studio, some I just downloaded them. They are third-party plugins. So FL keys, I add. Have you seen? Just add, the click button here, then you add. So with the FL keys, now this one is not a drum. If you say you just plot, if you just say just plot, it will not come out. Let's see. It does not work. So plotting is on, it's good with the drums, but when it comes to synths, it doesn't work well. So what do you do here? After you loading, right click, you access your piano roll. So here, since this one is only one bar, this one is only one bar, our drums are going for one bar. So with FL Studio, I would like it to move more than one bar. So what do? I need to change the pattern here. Need to go to a different pattern. Come to our playlist. Something I need to first remove here. Of this one, don't worry, learn all these ones when we are in our episode of playlist. So we are in the second pattern, that is the piano roll. Access the piano roll, access our piano roll. Now we have come to pattern 2. You have to drag it, pattern 2 here, drag it. Let me extend this one. Okay, we are in pattern 2. Come back here, access our piano roll. So if it's playing, And then again, now it's not, we are not hearing anything. That's because we are in the pattern mode. So we need to change to song mode for us to access what is here on our playlist. We have to access the song mode. If we are playing in pattern mode, that means going to pattern only. So we are in pattern 2. Pattern 2 doesn't have anything yet. But if we come back to pattern 1, we access our drums. So pattern 2, let's go to song mode. Piano roll. This is our piano roll. You're going to look at the piano rolls on its own. So you see, you can make music even if you don't know anything about like playing an instrument. You just plot. We are going to look at these ones in details when we shall be looking at our piano roll episode. But as for now, our main focus is on FL keys, or on our channel rack. So that's how you access the piano roll. You cannot just plot with the piano roll. You need to access the piano roll here. You cannot just use your channel rack to plot a synth. No, you need to access it. Okay, so that is adding instruments to our channel rack. Now you're seeing these guys here. These ones, when you look at our hint panel, these ones are called target mixer track. Now each sound from here is sent to our mixer. That is the time for mixing. So if we look at our mixer, also we're going to look at the mixer. There is a full episode about the mixer. You can see 1, 2, 3, it's lined up. All these ones are tracks. So if we come to our piano roll, this one, track 1, will go to the mixer, track 1. Track 2 here will go to the mixer, track 2. So you have to label them here. So are you seeing as I'm moving, it's also moving in the mixer there. So this one will go to track 5, this one will go to track 6, so that when you're mixing, each sound is on its own. Now if I say I mix 1, and that means our kick and our clap will all go to track 1 on the mix, and that means you cannot mix two different tracks at a go. If you want to treat a kick on its own, treat it on its own. So how do you do that one? Is by giving it its own number, its own insert number. Okay, those are that's the use of the numbers. You just scroll up and down with your mouse, then it goes. Another thing, this one is the volume. Here, if I want to decrease the volume, or I want to increase the volume, or you want to reset it, right click, you reset. Panning, this one is for channel panning. So if we, let's say, we want to pan the keys to the left, I want to pan the keys to the left, it goes to the left. To the right. It's just simple. This one is for muting. Let's say I'm muting the kick will not be there. Just left click, then emit again. Or if I right click, if I want to only remain with this one, I right click solo, is the only one that I'm listening to. If I right click again, solo, others will be opened. Right click, solo, right click again, solo. Okay, now another thing, another place here is the swing, the swing meter, the main swing. Now this one adds groove. As you adjust it to the right, you're adding the groove to our drum, to the drums. You know, as per now, the drums sound like computerized. They don't have that human feel. They sound computerized. So to add the groove or that human feel, you take it to the right. Are you hearing now the groove? The more you take it, that's too much. So you have to adjust accordingly to what you want. Yes, sounds computerized. To humanize it, you have to adjust the swing. So that's it. The swing meter. Next is our graph editor. Open, let's say you have to focus what you want, the track, that the instrument you want to access, activate it, and then you go to the graph editor. So we have the note, the velocity, but I want us to look at the velocity. The velocity, in other words, that's the volume. So if I play it, let's use the kick. Graph editor. So if the second key, are you hearing? That's the velocity. Others, those are advanced stages. We are going to look at them in the future, but not now. In the near future. Okay. You just click and drag to the level you want. That's the graph editor for you. Now I might decide, I can decide to group my, let's say I want to get this one, to select multiple tracks or instruments. You right click to deselect, and to deselect again, right click, you deselect, right click to deselect, right click to select, right click. That's selecting multiple instruments. Now let's say I want to group these ones as drums. To group them, you click, hold Alt, then G, then you give the name. Let's say I want to name these ones as drums, then click OK. Now we have the drums. Come here, if I say all, I'm going to access all. I say now my drums, I'll access only the drums. And sorted, that means the others that are not grouped are the ones that will be shown. So a clap, snare, effect keys are not grouped, so they are unsorted. So that's it. Remember I told you can adjust. Mostly if you'll be dealing with trap, you'll find that trap, let's say for the snare, this snare you'll need it on the threes and then the sevens. That means you have to adjust. You have to adjust here to access the threes for the snare, then the sevens. So you adjust according to the style of music, but for a simple dancehall vibe, just leave it there. So that's the grouping. You can change the color. You right click, I right click, change the color. I can rename it. Let me say 8K1. I rename it. So I can change the color. You just choose the color. I can change the icon. Let's see. Yeah, change the icon. Change the icon to whatever icon you feel like. You just choose. Just choose the icon that you want. We have looked at this one. Changing color. So that's it with the channel rack. Remember, we are not dealing with the advanced part of it, but the basic. But the advanced part of it, even these are the basics. That's what you'll normally use, you know. Let's right click. Okay, another thing is there is copy, cut, paste, then replace. Now we looked at, let's say, coming to here to the browser, and then you click and then you place. But what if I want to replace with another plugin here? So you right click, you replace. So when I say replace, you just choose anything that I feel like. You replace with this plugin. So it was our 808 tone, but has been replaced. So you right click, you replace, or insert. When I say insert, it's going to be inserted above. Insert base, it's going to be inserted above. It has been inserted above citrus. Right click again, clone. Clone means that you are recreating this instrument with all its settings. So when I say clone, this one is going to get a second version of this one. So are you seeing citrus 1, then citrus 2? That is cloning for you. Let's say I have my drums here, or let's say I have my hi-hats here, or let's say I have my rims here, and I want to copy this exactly. So it is simple. Come, right click, copy, then go to our claps, right click, paste. You see, I've pasted here from here now. Or if I want, I cut. If you cut, you're going to remove it all. Then I paste it in the snare here. That's it. Remember, to remove these ones, you have to right click. When you right click, everything goes away. Delete, you can decide to delete. You right click, then you delete. Cut itself. Now, cut itself. Let's say, let's say, let me load this 808 here. Can bring it out well. There is this one, cut itself. I want it here. Let me plot here something quick. Let me solo it. Right click, solo. Let me play. Are you hearing? As this one comes in, this one stops, this one takes over. But now let me remove cut itself. Are you hearing? This one is coming in and entering to this one is entering into this one, as in the whole thing is muddy, you know. So to remove that one, you cut itself. So cut itself, in other words, means that when another note is coming in, the previous note stops. This one is coming, the previous note stops. So that's the use of cutting in. Okay, then let's say there is moving. I want to move this one up. Let me say I want to move my 808 up. You go press Alt, then the arrow, use the arrow keys up and down. So it's taking up to where you want it. Press Alt, then up and down arrow keys. Okay. I've told you, changing the pattern, you change. It doesn't matter. I can have one instrument which is in pattern 1, pattern 2. It doesn't matter. No. Okay, so if I am in pattern 1, I'm using this kick, and I still need it in pattern 2, I don't have to load the same kick to duplicate the same kick. No, I just, in pattern 1 I use this kick, and then in pattern 2 I plot in the same kick, but they're going to different patterns. But when it's said to mix the kick, it will be sent to track 1 on the mixer. Remember to send it to the mixer here. If I click here, then again click, click left one, click twice. If you click twice, you're going to select all. But if you want to, if you again click, it goes. But if you want to select different tracks, not all, you have to use right click. But if you want to select all, it is a double click. You're going to select all. Now this one is helpful if you want to send all of these ones in your mixer. So after selecting all, I'm going to come to my mixer, right click, then channel routing, route selected channel starting from this track. Boom, they have all come. We are going to look at the mixer in its own episode. Don't worry for now. Today's episode was all about the channel rack. So that's it, guys, about the channel rack. Let me hope you have learned something. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and hit that alarm, that bell icon, so that when I post another video, you don't miss, you are informed. I remind you, favorite boy, 40p the Dreamer. I sign out.